So welcome. So glad that you're here. We're going to continue today our topic of navigating change. And we're going to talk about the heart. We're going to talk about the heart as a compass. But let's start first with some music. Connie?
In our philosophy, we believe that our beliefs shape our perceptions, right? And our perceptions shape our experiences. So, isn't it nice that we can change all of that by following what our heart tells us and then letting our head support that heart? Isn't it nice that we can dream of all the places we can't see? Fly over oceans wide, do all the things we've never tried. Isn't it strange how you can go back to a home you've never known? It's like you were there before, a place you've been searching for. The new world waits inside your dreams. Your heart knows the way. Isn't it nice to feel so free and love the way love's supposed to be? Never with hurt or pain, never with something else to gain. And isn't it strange, it seems so clear that we have nothing here to fear, 'cause somehow the morning light fades all the things we see at night. The new world waits inside your dreams, and your heart knows the way. Isn't it nice to let it go unto the life your soul knows, and let this real world fade away? Once you're there, you'll know that you're inside. Can't hold back, just open your eyes. The new world waits inside your dreams, and your heart leads the way. Isn't it nice to let it go unto the life your soul knows, and let the real world fade away? Isn't it nice to let it go unto the life your soul knows, and let the real world fade away?
Beautiful. Let's just take a nice deep breath in and release. Sometimes music just is the perfect thing, isn't it? It's the perfect thing to just settle us into the moment. This is sacred time that we've made for ourselves and for each other. Sacred time that we've made and created to gather our hearts and to remember that life is holy, that there is something powerful and amazing that is happening in our world. We have lots of opportunity to be in the mind of that, don't we? Lots of opportunity to be in the discernment of what is true and what is not true, and what we believe and what we don't believe. And that's all fine. That's a process that we can engage in because we're humans and we have a brain, and our brain wants to think. Our brain is designed to think. We want to think and fire synapses and process and consider. And today I want to invite you not to. Today I want to invite you to recognize that that is not the only thing you can do. I want to invite you to recognize that we have been conditioned through our lives to believe that what we think is the most important part of who we are. And I want to invite you into a different possibility today. As we continue considering how we navigate change, I want to invite you to step out of your mind and into your heart. There won't be many times I ask you to get out of your mind. But today, to step out of your mind and into your heart, and to recognize that the heart is a different place. It's an entirely different place. We have learned a lot about the heart. In science, we have learned that the heart sends messages to the brain. We think of it the other way. We think about the brain somehow telling the heart that it needs to beat, and that all happens without us having to consider it. But there is another truth, and the truth is that the heart sends significant messages to the brain. And I think a few weeks ago, Reverend Julie talked about heart math. I think she probably talked to you a little bit about that, about the frequency and the rhythm of our heart, and the importance it has in calming the brain, in settling things down. Now, this is science. This is science. This is well-researched, well-defined science. When we operate from our heart and we allow the heart to lead, we are much more easily able to calm the overthinking mind. And that matters right now because we have lots to think about. There are many, many things that we can consider. So I want to invite you to start this morning by placing one hand on your chest. Just place one hand there and drop your chin. Allow your eyes to come down and close them for a moment. Take a deep breath in, and as you release, settle into your heart space. And then gently bring your eyes back up and release your hand. That process by itself, that very simple process, will change where you're focusing. It changes it so much for me that to speak afterwards, I have to really work on it because my focus drops down here, and the heart is not a place of words. When we drop into our heart space, it's not a place of words. Our heart space is a place of the inner sanctum. It's the place of the inner sanctuary. And we use this space, this heart place, not by accident. There is something very special that happens when we drop into the heart. Our consciousness moves from here to here, to the center of our being. So if any of you are familiar with the chakra system, the energy that comes in from the divine, the energy that comes all the way down and roots us into the earth, the energy that comes back up, all the way up and back through to the holy. In the very center of that is the heart space. So the center between our grounding on the earth and our opening to the holy is here. This is the connection place, the place that our earthly existence and our divine existence meet. So it's not just because the heart is a special organ. It's because something powerful happens at the center of our being, energetically. So we settle into this middle point on our body, into this place where we are both of the earth and of the heavens, to move from overthinking and overprocessing to inner guidance. So I spoke about and wrote about this lesson using the compass as a visual point for us, that your heart is a compass for navigating change. Your heart allows you to find your true north. So if you think about a compass, true north allows you to have a feeling not only of where north is, but where the other directions are. So in indigenous tribal cultures, directions have meaning, and they change according to where you are on the planet. They can be different than what I'm going to share with you. But today I'm going to place some things in those directions that you can use for this process. So in True North, we're going to place the element of earth. And I want you to think about earth exactly as it is. It's where your feet go. It's where you ground and where you settle yourself. It is the connection all the way through that planet that you're standing on. That touch connects you with common ground that every other person on the earth has their feet on. And we'll give pause for those that are up in the air right now, or doing something other than having their feet on the earth. But everyone who is connected to the planet is connected to you right now through your feet. So this true north is where you are. You are on the earth. You are one with the earth. You are one with every living being on the earth. That is your true place of connection right now. And we need to remember that when we start to settle, don't we? Because there are certain laws to being on the earth that are pertinent and relevant to our life experience. And this is where we are right now. It doesn't mean this is where we'll always be. But today, if you're showing up on my screen, I feel fairly confident that you are on the planet. So True North will be our place on the planet. And if we move as the sun moves, and we move to the east, in the east we find our intellect. It's the place of air. And air, you want to think about thoughts. Thoughts are very airy, aren't they? You are up in your head, in the air, in the mental field. That's a valuable place to be. It's usually the first place we go. We put our feet on the earth and we begin thinking about things. Get out of bed in the morning, put our feet on the ground, and we start thinking. A lot of us start thinking before we get our feet on the ground, don't we? We are thinking beings. We like to make meaning out of things. So we start there. And as we think, we move around to the south. And in the south, we place fire. And fire is passion. And fire is will. And fire is that ability to put behind our thoughts some motion, some drive, some energy. So if you think this is our normal process, get up in the morning, put our feet on the earth, start thinking about things, and get passionate or willful or sometimes even angry about whatever it is that we're thinking about. Worried. Sometimes that emotion that comes up for us because we're thinking and we're feeling is worry. So our compass is taking us through possibilities, isn't it? If we continue to move through this process, we will come to the west. And in the west, we find water. And in the field of water, think about what water is. Think about the fact that water flows freely. Think about the fact that water carved the Grand Canyon. Water. Water comes in very soft trickles, or water comes in torrents and rageful currents. So when we move into that field of water, that sense of passion or will that we've carried forward is really important. If we've carried forward anger and frustration, what happens when you put fire and water together? The fire is calmed, isn't it? As we move into water, it usually means that we've started to recognize that we need to shift. There's a shift for us into love. There's a shift for us into gratitude. And sometimes there's a shift for us that allows us to break down whatever is in front of us that is an obstacle to us moving into peace. Water is powerful enough to do that. And then we're going to complete that circle and move from water all the way back up to earth, bringing gratitude and love and calm, moving obstacles out of our way, and feeling grounded again, feet back on the earth, grounded in a different way. When indigenous tribes use direction and elements, they're inviting us to look at parts of life, to recognize that we are more than just what goes on in our head. We are the earth below our feet. We are the thoughts that we think. They matter. We are the emotions we allow ourselves to process through. And we are also something more. We are a power of love that is not just the kind of love that we think of in one another. It's not just the love that we have from heart to heart and person to person. It's a love that permeates all things and all beings. It's something big enough and powerful enough to carve something of great beauty. It's consistent and reliable and always there. And it helps us to walk on the earth in a different way. All of these pieces work together to make a full spectrum human being. So when we think about the compass, you have the ability to go anywhere you want using your compass, don't you? So you find true north, you find yourself in your body, and then you decide for yourself, should I think or should I feel first? Where do I want to go this morning as I wake up in my day? Where do I want to settle? Generally, we're used to thinking, but what would happen if you moved the other way? What would happen if you checked in on your heart first thing in the morning? If the first place you went was love? What if when you woke up in the morning, you put your feet on the ground at the side of your bed, and you put your hand on your chest, and you lowered your chin and closed your eyes and took a deep breath and let yourself settle into the holy, the sacred, the place of center. You allowed the divine to come in and the earth to come up, to find yourself in the center, in the balance point. But if you checked in on your heart and you allowed your heart to open, to guide you? What if you were intentional about allowing your heart to guide you through the day? Take a deep breath and open your heart to guide you through the day. It's a powerful thing to think about. It's a more powerful thing to do. It's a much more powerful thing to do. At any moment in your day, you can reconnect to your heart. At any moment in your day that you feel that you're overthinking something, that you're caught up in the drama of your mind, that the disciplined mind you'd like to have, that is thinking good, powerful thoughts that manifest what you want in your life, at any moment that you want that, you have the ability to go there by dropping your chin, placing your hand on your heart, and breathing down into this space with the intention of opening guidance here. This is really simple and really complex, isn't it? It's really simple, but if it was so simple, we would do it every day. It's not what we've been trained to do. What we've been trained to do and made to feel is most important is to think. Think about it. I just said it. Think about it, right? It's the language. Occasionally, when someone has overthought something, we'll say, follow your heart. What's your heart tell you? You've now laid out all the options you've thought about. Follow your heart. Oh gosh, I don't know what my heart thinks. I have no clue. I'm still up here thinking everything else. So this is not something we've practiced. We've come to value education, intellect, knowledge. We put ourselves through years of school. We move from school to how we will use our education out in the world to support ourselves and to make the world different. We don't talk in school or generally in our business environments about how our heart is going to make the world different. We talk about what we've learned. The heart is a present moment thing. The heart is not something you will find in the file cabinets in your brain, in your thought system. The heart is in the present moment, always in the present moment. And you want it to be because you need it to be right now, don't you? You don't want it to stop and think about whether it remembers how to beat. You want your heart to be beating right now in the present moment. When you need a compass, you need it right now. You need it to tell you where true north is right now. You don't need it to tell you where it was last week when you were somewhere else. Your heart is about coming into this moment and noticing. And there are a lot of things to notice when your perspective starts from your heart. When your perspective starts from your heart, it invites you to ask yourself, are you thinking loving, productive thoughts? From your heart and what is best for you and the world, when you come from love and balance and centeredness, you're able to examine your thoughts and discipline them and decide who is in charge of you, your crazy monkey mind or your divine center. So from this divine center, we can reach love into the monkey mind and put it to rest. From this center, we can reach out to the fire of our emotions, whatever they are. And if they are hot emotions, we can breathe in and calm ourselves. And if they're cold, and cold means that you've gotten apathetic, you don't care about anything, then from your heart, you can apply love to the world. You don't have to care about anything in particular. How do we get to love when we feel apathetic? We ask ourselves what we're grateful for. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful that there are clothes in my closet. I'm grateful that there's food in my refrigerator. I'm grateful that it's summer and it's not cold. I'm grateful that I woke up this morning. I'm grateful for the soft sheets I slept in last night. I'm grateful for the beautiful people in my life who make me laugh and make me smile. I'm grateful for my mom. She cracks me up. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for you, for this time that we have together. There is something in your life to be grateful for. And gratitude is it can be very small. It grows like a snowball rolls down a hill. Once you begin to crack the door on gratitude, it multiplies and multiplies and multiplies. You realize more and more and more how much you have to be happy. Well, wrong word. So much you have to be grateful for. Gratitude isn't always about happy, is it? Because you can have some pretty challenging things going on and still be grateful. And gratitude can be the thing that gives you grounding again, that brings you back to true north, that reminds you who you are authentically. So I want to talk about the hard times a little bit, because we are living in a challenging world, and many of us are facing additional challenges, not just the challenge of this time on the planet, and not just the challenges of being alone or being unable to go where we want to go or see who we want to see, but some of us have bigger things going on that would be going on no matter what time of life it is. So one of the things that our brain tries to trick us into believing is that if something is wrong, we have to focus on that. And that when we're focusing on that, we can't focus on anything else. So I want you to think about the spectrum, the light spectrum. You can think about it as a rainbow, or if you remember in science class when you had one of those little glass bars that broke the light up and you could see the spectrum of light. I want you to think about that, to envision that. I want you to remember that you were able to see all of those colors at one time. And you might notice that one was more vibrant than the other, or one was not as vibrant as the other. You might notice that, but you were not limited to seeing only one color. You were able to see the entire spectrum. So sometimes when we're in suffering or we're in pain, we forget that we have a whole spectrum of emotion available for us. That we can have suffering, we can have worry, we can have pain, and we can also have gratitude, and we can have beauty, and we can have moments of joy. We can have moments in the center of all of that and be feeling more than one thing at one time. Oftentimes teachers will say you can't feel anger and love at the same time. You absolutely can feel anger and love at the same time. You absolutely can feel the full spectrum. And don't we want to be full spectrum human beings? Don't we want to be people who can feel all the different levels of our humanity? One does not preclude us from having the other. It's an important knowing that we can be in many places in ourselves at one time. It's also an important knowing that when we go to our heart, there may be something in the way that stops us from going straight into bliss or love or enlightenment or whatever it is you're seeking there. You may have to look at the full spectrum of where you are as a human being and notice, is there some obstacle on my path? Do I have something I haven't grieved? Is there something I'm angry about that I need to journal about or write about or do something to release? What else is in my heart besides just the love I'm looking for, the place of peace, the place of centering? It's like a house, it's a temple, it's a sacred place. And if you left your house alone and you hadn't visited there in a while, you would probably have to pick up a dustpan and do some sweeping of cobwebs when you got in. You would have to clear some things out, wouldn't you? Now, when you go to your heart, to that heart temple on a regular basis, when it's a place you visit and you sit and you observe and you feel, you will begin to clear things out that are in the way. You'll begin to clean it up. But if you're starting your day up here, chances are you're staying up here most of your day. And your heart space, your inner sanctum might be a little dusty. It might need to be cleared out a little bit. So I want to invite you to recognize this as a holy place, as a place that can guide you, and as a place that will, when you clear out that other stuff, the things that you want to know will come to you there. The answers will come to you. So how do we get to the answers? How does that happen? Let's assume we've gone to our sacred temple and we've cleaned out the stuff that was in the way, or we've at least made peace with it. Now, how do we know that it's the center of our heart speaking, guiding us? How do we know that? There are some things that are really important. If you're thinking, is this true or is this not true? You are not in your heart. You are in your head analyzing what your heart is trying to tell you, but you are not in your heart, because your heart space has a truth about it that you won't find anywhere else. There is a truth that comes when you're in that space that you know. You might choose to ignore it at times and have to come back later and say, I knew that. This space will tell you the truth, your divine connection. You will feel it through all of your being. When you are in this space in the center of your being, and you are truly in the temple where divine mind and who you are in this manifestation are one, when you're in that space, there is no doubt. Everything in you, every cell in your body aligns with what is right for you in the moment, with where you are being guided. And if you have trouble and you stay in your heart, Spirit has a way of showing up lots of different ways. I get lots of different symbols, lots of different things show up on my path that remind me, oh yeah, that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like I should move in that way. So observation rather than thinking is the answer. If you have any unsureness, bring yourself back to your heart over and over. And then allow time and observe your life. And you will begin to see if what feels right to you begins to show up in messages around you. This is a very different way of doing things. Very different from thinking through. I contend that right now we will not get through this change if we try and do it from here. The world is trying to change quickly and powerfully. And we have plenty of guidance available to us if we allow ourselves to move from the heart. And don't you think maybe moving from the heart is the change we're trying to make? That maybe expressing fully as the divine self, that maybe, just maybe, that is the change. I want to show you a slide. I'm going to bring it up on my screen. It's just a quote. This is a quote by Carlos Castaneda. This quote has been with me since I was in my early 20s. It's a quote I go back to over and over and over and over and over. And it says this: a path is only a path, and there is no affront to oneself or to others in dropping it if that is what your heart tells you to do. Look at every path closely and deliberately. Try it as many times as you think necessary. Then ask yourself alone one question: does this path have a heart? If it does, the path is good. If it doesn't, it is of no use. I'll post this later on our Facebook page, but I want you to think about this quote. We have a way of thinking that we have to have a certain path through life and a certain way of doing things. We don't. A path is just a path. Every path that you take has the opportunity to bring to you joy and happiness and allow you to do good work in the world. Every path. A path is just a path. If the path has heart, if it allows you to move from your divine self, then it's a good path. If it doesn't have heart, no matter how much energy or effort or work you put into it, if the path doesn't have heart, it's of no use to you. Go ahead and close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in. Release. Put your hand on your heart. Drop your chin. And allow your focus to move down to the center of your being, to that place where words have no home, to that place of knowing. I invite you into the holy sanctum, into the sanctuary of your heart. I invite you to notice what might need cleaning. Do you notice cobwebs or dust bunnies? Or maybe more. Sometimes we have more stored there than we think. Just make note of it for now. You can go back at another time and find out what that is. For now, I invite a giant wind to come through and blow out as much of that as possible. Just gone. I invite you to step to the center. I wonder if you've ever been in one of those circular buildings where your voice comes back to you from all directions. One of those acoustically magical places where if you said the word love, you would feel it in your ears, you would feel it in your heart, you would feel it echo through your body. Just love. Because that's what lives in this place. And that's what you can trust in this place. You can trust the power of divine love that exists in this place to be beyond the physical, to be beyond the circumstances, to be beyond your imagination, to permeate all that you are and to communicate with you in ways your mind can't even think, to create for you an inner knowing, an innate knowing, an immediate in the present knowing, so that when you come to this space, you have clarity. When you come to this space and you open your heart, and you clear the obstacles, what is yours to know will come to you. Just take a moment and settle into this space. Let every cell in your body remember every step of this journey. Let it be easy. Let the light of your heart guide you to this space each time you ask, each time it's your will to go here. Let the divine light guide the path to your heart sanctuary and enter with trust and with faith, and allow wisdom to be yours. And so it is.
We're going to end on a high note here, so I wanted to say a few words so I don't startle you. It's been a quiet morning. Thank you, Ahriana. It was perfect. Yeah, it's been a bumpy road. Roller coasters high and low. Fill the tank and drive the car. Pedal fast and pedal hard. You won't have to go that far. You wanna give up 'cause it's dark. We're really not that far apart. So let your heart, sweetheart, be your compass when you're lost, and you should follow it wherever it may go. When it's all said and done, you can walk instead of run, 'cause no matter what, you'll never be alone. Never be alone. Never be alone. Forgot directions on your way. Don't close your eyes, don't be afraid. We might be crazy late at night. I can't wait till you arrive. Follow the stars, you'll be alright. You wanna give up 'cause it's dark, but we're really not that far apart. So let your heart, sweetheart, be your compass when you're lost, and you should follow it wherever it may go. When can walk instead of run. 'Cause no matter what, you'll never be alone. Never be alone. Never be alone. You wanna give up 'cause it's dark, but we're really not that far apart. So let your heart, sweetheart, be your compass when you're lost, and you should follow it wherever it may go. When it's all said and done, you can walk instead of run. 'Cause no matter what, you'll never be alone. Never be alone. Never be alone. When it's all said and done, you can walk instead of run. 'Cause no matter what, you'll never be alone.
That was beautiful, Connie. Thank you so much. Yeah. It's important to remember we're never alone, isn't it? Look across your screen at all of the people. There are better than 70 people here this morning. We are not alone. We are stretching a mighty web across the country, certainly across our city and all the way. It's, you know how if you look at a web, how the edges sometimes are really out there. Like sometimes the pattern is in the middle, but the edges go out a long way. Our edges stretch a long way today. I love that. I love the web that we're weaving. I love the connections that we're able to establish with one another. The beauty and heart of this community remains strong and powerful and a blessing to all of us. So for your part in that blessing, for your presence here this morning, I'm grateful. We're all grateful. This morning would not be what it was if any one of the hearts here chose not to be here. So every one of you have contributed to the love and the energy and the wholeness of this gathering. I want to thank you for all the ways that you support this community. Remind you that we are continuing to do really good work. We raised $200 to send down to our Gambellon refugee camp last weekend. That doesn't sound like a lot of money. That's a lot of money in Uganda. That's a lot of money for the simple things that they need right now, rice and beans and soap and things that can't be delivered easily because, like us, they are being impacted by lots of things related to COVID and not COVID directly, things that are stopping them from getting the resources they need. So we are doing that good work. We continue to take care of things for Westside Cares. We have now met the expense of and provided 480 boxes of 24 crayons that will go in backpacks. And every year we do that. Every year we work with all of the Westside Cares churches, and I believe there are 24 right now. And so each church provides one thing that goes in the backpacks. So we will be in conjunction, talk about spreading the web, in conjunction not just with churches, but with people in all of those churches who all work together like you did, 50 cents or $1 or $2 at a time, to put together our resources and make sure that 480 children will have beautiful new stuff for school this year, and will feel that's a really powerful thing. I don't want the power of that to be lost on you. Consider what it would feel like if they didn't have those things. If everyone else in class had a new backpack and all new supplies and you had to show up at school without those things. Imagine how it would change your experience of life. Excuse me. Imagine how different life would be for those 80 children and how excited they'll be to be able to color. And they will be coloring with all those beautiful colors all year long. So that small contribution from you is a big contribution in the world on both of those sides. What we're doing is making a difference, heart by heart, person by person, child by child. And I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for our ability to work together to do that. I'm grateful that we continue to be financially well at the church. We've made big changes. We had our last, I say last, so let's change that word. We had a final must go at our bingo with our bingo team because we are on pause with bingo until it's safer to have bingo because people are more important, aren't they? And we want our people to be safe and we want the people who attend to be safe as well. So our team is taking a pause and that's a difference in our income. And you have continued to give generously and that has allowed us to do that. That has allowed our bingo team to breathe and to take good care of themselves and step back. And so I want to thank you for your generous hearts in that way. We have minimized all of our expenses and we still have right in the neighborhood of $10,000 to $12,000 a month that we are meeting in regular expenses, and that's at our bare bones budget. So your contributions are very important to that going on. Yesterday, the men's group came over to the Fillmore Center, and we finished up a good deal of the cleaning inside and the painting outside and the window fixing and the garage opening and all the stuff that has to be done to make that house ready to go on the market. We are expecting it to go on the market the beginning of the month. Just to put it out there for you, this will be a great fixer-upper in a beautiful place. So if you know someone who flips houses, please tell them about this house. This house has great potential. We are really grateful to the men's group for all the work that they did yesterday. And even as we speak, Jeff Cahill is over working on things today that didn't get finished yesterday. And I know Derek will be back doing some things this week. I know we've still got some work to do, but it's coming along. The way that we help each other, the things that we do to help each other, it's another way that we stay connected, isn't it? The small amount that we can all do that ends up being a big amount that we all accomplish. So I want to hold in our hearts not only that we have a thriving and financially abundant spiritual community, but I want to acknowledge that there are people in our spiritual community whose jobs might be threatened in this time. And I want us to hold a vision of a thriving and economically well community, that all of our people find resources through whatever is available and that our needs are all met. So let's hold in our hands what it is that we would give, our love, our prayers, our gifts of all kinds. And let's repeat our affirmation of abundance. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And let us multiply the love in this community that brings forth love and abundance for any amongst us or any around us who have special needs at this time. And so it is. Chris, I know you'll put the information for giving in the chat box. Thank you for doing that. You can always donate through our website, which is www.unityrockies.org. Next week, Connie will be taking a well-deserved break. Paul will be here with us, which we love. It's so much fun to have guitar, and Paul is just delightful, so Paul will be joining us next week. I'll be back. Sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'll be back. I will be here And I don't know what we're talking about yet. Spirit has a funny way of giving that to me when it's time. And I'm really grateful for Connie in that regard, because Connie just rides with me in the flow and we see what we come up with. But as of right now, I don't know what we'll be called to talk about next week. I usually know by about Wednesday. So I'll let you know as soon as I know. I hope you'll come back. I hope you'll join us and bring your beautiful faces. This gathering would not be the same without you. So let's pray our way out, and then as Connie sings, I invite you to sing and to scroll across the screen and to look into each other's eyes and wave and make connection and remember the beauty of the community that we share. So here we are as one heart, grateful for this present moment, grateful for a new way to start our day, grateful for a wisdom that isn't about thinking, for a divine wisdom that is available and present and called forward in each of us. Grateful that this wisdom will guide us in sure-footedness, will guide us in ways forward that our brains can't imagine. That this wisdom is bigger than any circumstance. This wisdom is bigger than any fear. That this is the wisdom of the divine presence coming forward as us and through us and all around us. We're grateful for every heart gathered here, for the beauty of this time together, for all that lies within. And so it is, and amen.
If you've been here before, you know what I'm going to say right now. What is it? Let me hear you. If someone comes to mind, reach out to them. Email, text, give them a call, send them a card, and just trust it's the right thing to do. Let the light within you shine. We are all connected. Look into another's eyes. See your light reflected. We are one light, shining souls in harmony. We are one light, shining in unity. Have a blessed week, everybody.